Precision Farming, and today getting tongue-tied. We will be reviewing and summary of how it works. And it's raining right now. I've got soybean planted in these fields, and you can see weeds have already popped up. So hang on just a minute. I need to turn the game sound down just a little bit here. Let's see if I can find it here under settings, because that is way too loud. Well, I thought the sound was on here, but I guess it ain't. There we go. Anyway, and then environment sound needs to be turned down just a hair, maybe to 50. Okay. Now, much better. So, to start the review, the first thing you have to do with precision farming is sample the field. There's two ways to do that. Let me get to the map here now. There's two ways to do that. And that is, you can either do it yourself, which is the cheapest, or let me go back to the map, or or do it yourself. Or pay to have it done. Anyway, and once you do that, the next step is then to get your lime or pH value, which is lime, get it perfect. And then after that is when it starts to variate. There's several variations that you could do. There's several ways you can do it. The way I'm going to do it, and I know it works because that's what, well, I didn't do it on this particular round of soybeans, but I did it on this field with the wheat. As after I limed, I mulched. And so, and it's, anyway, I mulched, and you see that 80% down there under yield potential. I got it to that for the wheat crop by mulching and rolling, but mulching after I limed. Then I planted with a planter that, and again, you don't have to mulch if you don't want to. If you buy a field and it says it needs plowing, you can plow. It won't help your environmental score, and it won't. Coming up, you'll never see weeds, but it'll keep your environmental score from, on the weed factor part, from getting what you need for your from your environmental score. Anyway, but you can plow it, just because when you read in there it says you can't. Don't that's not exactly accurate. Yeah, it does take away. It doesn't take away from the environmental score, but it doesn't improve it either. Anyway, look at the deer out there, y'all. So after you mulch, you can put down a layer of, if you want to, of manure slurry to start with before you plant, so you won't use as much liquid or solid fertilizer later, either directly after planting, or if you're going to use the sensors, you got to wait till this point, till you have you have growth, and you go through the field with that sensor, and it senses where it needs more fertilizer and whatnot. Does it work better than? Is it better than what I've done here? I don't know, because you see my pH. My nitrogen is perfect, because soybeans don't need much nitrogen. They don't need any. There's 25 kilograms out here, but they didn't need that. So that's why I did soybeans. I wanted to see whether they needed anything or not. I knew they didn't on 19, but still the same here on 22. Anyway, let me show you the. Well, I must have. Well, I was going to show you the yield off of 14 and 15, but apparently I done reset it anyway. But look at this. Wait a minute. Here's the seed rate, and it's the same on these two, but look at that over here. Now you want that on all three of these fields are soybean. You want to see what the yield potential is on that right there. And whoa, wait a minute. Something's changed here. Oh, let me show you. Okay. That loam, that gray. Let me show you. Even though there's weeds in it, I gotta spray it too over here in field 12. Let me show you the yield potential over here. Look at the bottom right-hand corner. It says expected yield 115%, which means that's at 3.6 liters a hectare. Yield potential could get as much as 125%, which is 3.9 a hectare. Excuse me, 3.9 liters a hectare. And if you look at the yield map, 115 is third from the bottom, 125 is dead bottom. You can't get any better yield than that. Anyway, so like I said, there's several different variations that you can try to do as far as fertilization, but what I'm doing, I'm planting and fertilizing at the same time with this modded planter right here, the Horse Pronto, and and I also I know that this only plants wheat, soybean. I'll show you. I'll go in here and show you, just so you'll know. It only plants where you see what it plants there. And this is a mod, and it's 10 slots, which isn't too bad. Wheat, barley, oats, canola, soybean, sorghum. I'll show you there is a in-game planter, row planter, which is that's a seed driller, that Pronto. It's under here. But the row planters, there is one. Let's see. Now, that's the in-game one. But it is a good planter, row planter. And you see it fertilizes and plants. Now, what you can do is get a shallow cultivator, either a disc or a cultivator that actually is what's called a shallow cultivator, and I'll show you what one of them looks like. Let me see. I might be sold it. Like I've already sold that one, yeah. Look at them deer, they're going after my soybean. Get out of here. Yeah. Get out of my soybean. Anyway, but I'll show you what a shallow cultivator, the one I like to use, I'll show it to you. Where is it? Well, wait a minute. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. I hit this. Well, all your disc hairs are shallow cultivators. But if you want to actually use what's called a shallow cultivator, right there, that Kun, 59,000, 11 slots. You see what it says up above it right there? Shallow cultivators are used for the shallow cultivation or seed bedding creation. You can do that, or you can direct, if your planter or seed driller direct has a shallow cultivator on it, in other words, it directs plants to seed directly in without having to do a cultivation ahead, then you can do that and fertilize, and you're really killing three birds with one stone. Either way, you're going to get well, on the let's go back on let's go down here now to environmental score, where it says cultivating, tillage. Tillage also affects the environment deep, like plowing. Five. Minimal tillage and direct seeding gives the maximum score of 10 points. Either way, you'll get 10 points. If you do shallow cultivating and or direct seeding, you'll get the 10 points, the maximum 10-point score for tillage on your environmental score. So it's whatever you want to do there. Once you've done that, then you're through planting. The fields will say, most likely, weeds small, weeds growing. At that point, you can get a weeder, not a hoe, but a weeder, and hire a worker, because you won't be able to see. But you can set a worker, and they'll do it. And weed, howbeit, and there won't be no weeds. But again, that's considered mechanical weed control. And if we go back to environmental score, the full score is 30, reached while using spot spray technology. And I'll show you what that is in just a minute. But if you do mechanical, you can also collect points for mechanical weed control. It is lower. You only get 20. You don't get the full 30. So you can do that, but you're going to get 10 less points. But let me show you what they're talking about when it says, under weeding, spot spray technology. This is the only one that came with the new mod, the Precision Farming. If you look very closely, you see these right there where I got my circle on? That is a sprayer and a camera. It turns, down there's a sprayer that goes with it. When that camera is turning and looking, if you got it turned on in the field, when it gets over a weed, it'll spray. If it ain't over a weed, it'll turn off. Going to save you about 90% herbicide. You see how much herbicide's in this thing? Let me show you how much it holds. Let's see. Let's see how much it holds full. Well, 3360, and it's 3251. Now, see, it's at 96%. I've used 4% doing them two fields, field 15 14 that first go around. Now, I'm going to go over here and show you. I'm going to drive over here at this first field and show you what I'm talking about. Undo the arms. What you see the spots of weeds. And hang on a minute. I'm going to pull up the weed screen on the big map so we can see it that way too. She's saving. There's the weeds. We're fixing to, well, we're at field 15 right there, you see. I'm going to pull all the way out so I can. Now I'm going to turn it on. See, it's on. Watch. You see it spraying when it sees the weeds. You're not spraying the whole field, just when you hit the weeds. That way you're not messing up the whole. And the weeds will pop up at first growth. They will pop up on first growth. And let's look at the map now. Let's see. It's loading. See? It turns brown, which means you've killed them. I'm going to leave it on because that way you can turn and you don't see the number going any lower down there, so it's not wasting any. And once you spray the weeds, this like I'm doing right now, you won't deal with them anymore in this season. You won't have to deal with them until you harvest and re-sow new seed in here. Then you'll have to deal with them again. Let's see. See, there you go. And that's how, and then after, I'm going to do this pass here. Once you get the weeds done, they won't grow back, so you don't have to worry about them anymore. And get up here to the end, and I'm on. And this is the easiest way, and you'll get the full 20 point, or let's see, should be got them all now. Yep, boom. All right, now you'll get the full, what is it, 30 points for weed control on your environmental score. And if we look at the map, this map, I'm already at 98 on that field anyway. So you see all my numbers, lines are full except that top one, which would be the nitrogen. I'm not sure. But here's what I found out about that. Remember my friend One Dog that was on the last episode? He's the one that enlightened me on that. He said you have to harvest first, then that will be your big increase on your environmental score. And he's right. That's how I got these fields to 98%. And it will. That's when let me line this up here. That is when your let's see, it should say no weeds now. Yep, weeds are gone. All right, I got to do these other two fields, but we'll finish talking first. When you harvest, your environmental score will go up. You'll watch it go up. So you see that's at 73%. Well, the weeds are dead. See right there's a dead weed. So nitrogen looks good. pH looks good. So anyway, once you harvest, it starts all over. And you could do that on each field six times, and then it's to be resampled after the sixth harvest. So you got 6 tries on these fields before you have to resample. But as far as the sensors, how that works is like this. If you decide to put, well, you don't have to put slurry or manure down to start with, but if you decide not to fertilize at planting, you have to fertilize at this point, which is the first growth stage. And if you do, those sensors, you got to have, obviously got to have, the way they work, you got to have crop up in the field, and it sensors where they need the most fertilization. I don't know how much more perfect you can get than what it's saying right there now. Of course, the nitrogen is at 25, which soybean don't need nitrogen. Anybody that knows anything about farming knows that. They pull nitrogen. They're one of the crops that pull nitrogen out of the earth, so you don't have to add any to it. You see, I got 20 or 25 kgs out there that's in there, but you see it says 0. You don't need to add none. That got more than enough there now. So, but if you decide to use slurry or digestate or whatever, it's only going to pull it up to a certain percentage. It'll turn the field yellow on the nitrogen. Let's go and look at the nitrogen. It'll turn it yellow up to about maybe 80 to 100, and then you'll have to come back. You won't use as much solid or liquid when you do that using the solid or liquid with the crop up. That's when you use the sensor to make sure if you got a crop planted that's not soybean that needs fertilizer. That's when you do that. When you fertilize, and it will help you put down and get it perfect that way. Anyway, but I'm not doing it that way because I like planting and fertilizing at the same time. That's much easier. You kill it, like I said, at least two birds with one stone, if not 3, with the cultivate situation. So, I hope these 4 videos have helped you with precision farming and kind of give you an idea how to do it. It is more to it on here than it was on 19 for sure, but it's a to do it. But just remember, your environmental score will go up when you harvest. That's when you're gonna get the greatest improvement on your environmental score is when you harvest. You can only do so much pre-harvest. After that, it's up to harvesting to increase or improve your environmental score. See those cameras right there? And those nozzles down below, the camera sees it and it turns on the nozzles in the area where the weed is. So that's and what that's called really is let me show you. Well, I got it on my mind. Yes, where is it? Come down to sprayers, and it's the only one. I've looked at all of them. It's the only one that has that technology. See here where it says see and spray? That's what it means. read what it says. With this configuration, each nozzle of the sprayer will only turn on while they are actually weeds below the nozzle. With that, you may use 90% less herbicide, reducing costs and protecting the environment. Let's see how much is. Remember, it was 96%. It's 95, so I used 1% on that field 15 over there. So we'll see. You know, and you're going to get full 30 points for environmental points for using this versus doing it mechanically, controlling the weeds mechanically. Not that you can't do that. Like I said, you can. You just won't get as many points on your environmental score. If you want to do it that way, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, so, and those numbers that you see out by the expected yield and the yield potential, the one that says like 2.3 to /HA, that's 2.3 liters to a hectare, which is about, a hectare is about 2.5 acres. A liter is 2.2 pounds. So that expected yield is going to 73%, and it's going to be harvested at well, let's do the math on that. 2.3 liters, 0.3 divided by 2.2. Wait a minute. 2.3 times 2.2. That's about 5 pounds per 2.5 acres. So you divide that by 2, that's 2.50, 2.5 pounds of, it's going to harvest 2.5 pounds of soybean per acre. That's what that means. Whereas on this field over here, field 12, where we getting that higher because of the soil, the type of soil it is, the loam soil, the gray loam soil, which is the best to plant in. Let me show you. Let's do the math on it. All right, let's do the figuring on both of them, 3.6 and 3.9. So it 2.2 times 3.6. That's 7, almost 8 pounds per hectare. Divide that by 2. Wait a minute. Let's do that again. 3.6 times 2.2. 7.92 divided by 2. That's almost 4 pounds an acre it's going to be harvesting in this field in the loam sand. And that's at expected yield. Now it could be more than that. Let's figure the other thing. At 3.9 could be as much as 3.9 times 2.2, which is what? How many pounds is in a liter? Equals almost 8. It's 8.5 pounds divided by 2. All right, you're going to get twice as much. The yield potential is what it harvests at. You're going to get over 4 pounds of soybean harvested in an acre. That's crazy, but that's what that is. Now let me show you. Let me look at the seed map and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh well, okay. Yeah, we need to go down a little further and see. It drops back because we're in sandy loam, which is the same stuff that's in part of 14. And I think that's all that's in. Yeah, half of 14 is sandy loam. So, that's what those numbers mean. You have to, because they won't. It doesn't. They use liters and they use metric measuring on here because the makers of this game they're from Switzerland, Poland, somewhere. That's what they use over there. They don't use standard measure. So, but so let's figure this one again. I'll show you tell you how many bushel. Most people use bushel. So hectares is metric for measuring land. Hectares and whatnot. Acres. So let's figure that it's 2.3 times 2.2 pounds. 506 divided by 2. So that's 2.53, not quite a bushel an acre. 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds. It's not even a bushel acre. Not a lot of soybean out of that field. A bushel is 55, 56 pounds. So might not get but a couple bushel out of that. Maybe 5 or 6 bushel out of that little field there. Anyway, but in fact, we can look in the silo. I can show you what we got of wheat. I know it was over 10,000 liters of wheat we got out of field 15. Yeah, let's go to the. Yep, there it is. I got 40,000 liters. So divide that by 2.2, and tell you how many pounds it is. No, you multiply it. That's 88 pounds and 88,426 pounds and 80 ounces. Then you say times 55. That's, whoa. No, wait a minute, I did that wrong. Let me do it again. 194 times 2.2. That's 88,426 pounds and 80 ounces. Divided by 55. That's 1,600 bushel. Almost 1,607 bushel. 607 bushel. 0.76. So you might as well say almost 1,608 bushel of wheat. That's how many bushel it is, based on the calculation that came off that field. Now, I know there was 3,800. So let's take that figure there. 194 minus 3,800. So we got between 15 and 14, 36,394 liters times 2.2 equals 80,066 pounds and 80 ounces. Divided by 55, 1,455, almost 456, 1,456, you might as well say, bushels of wheat. Just for your information. Anyway, it yielded 10,000 pounds and over, liters rather, of wheat when I harvested it. The first time I harvested it, before I did Presicion, it was only like 3,800 I got off of it. So big improvement. Anyway, if you have any questions about precision farming or farming in general, drop a link below, drop a message below, let me know. I'll do my best to answer it. But until next time, this is Farm King saying so long